Good evening, my friends, and welcome to this evening's The Danny Buckler Show, coming to you live on Instagram and other medias. No other medias, just Instagram. It's talk radio with a face. Two faces tonight, as I have a guest coming on. So everyone's piling in. I'm going to keep one eye on the chat, looking for him, and just bid you welcome. Welcome, Gloucester Magician, Lexi McGee. Welcome, Megan. Welcome, Laughing Co. Hello, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Come in and be comfy. Hey, Maggie. Megan's. Me, Chloe, Stephanie, and Clancy say hi. Hello, everybody. Hello, Megan's family. I have a guest coming up who is, as we speak, wrestling with the technology. So I shall keep. Oh, here he is. Right. Let's just. I was getting straight on as soon as he makes the request to join. It's going to be a good chat tonight. I'm pleased you're here. It's going to be a nice time. Yeah. It's always so awkward. Starting these things off looking for, oh, great, he's here. I could do with a big long intro. You all know who he is. There's no point. So please welcome a man who's fallen on hard times and has been forced to do this show. As I open the portal across the country and draw into this corner of the multiverse, Mr. Jon Richardson. Here he comes.
Me.
Ta-da!
Wrestling with the technology, you cheeky bastard. You were late.
I was. I couldn't get my phone turned on.
Tick tock, tick tock.
Oh, I had it all plugged in, didn't I? Trying to get it fired up in time, and then it was just like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought I'd blame it on you. How are you?
Yeah, you snake. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. It's, it's one of the worst years on record for all of humanity, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
no one wants
Let's
to
have a laugh.
complain. Cheers. Welcome to the Dog and Bastard.
Welcome to the show, John. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see the
It's
pub.
good to see you, old friend.
Oh, pal. Well, that's the end of that then. So, how was your day?
It was all right. Yes, we're just coming to the end of filming Meet the Richardsons Series 2. It's actually the best our marriage ever functions because we argue on camera all day. There's sort of nothing left in the tank. So when we get home, we're quite civil to each other. So usually we're working on separate stuff together and then we get home and we just sort of nag each other. And now we're just sort of all passion spent. So we get home and we have a plate of chips and gravy in true Northerner style, and then Lucy goes to bed and I come out to the Dog and Bastards. It's an incredibly healthy relationship.
It's wonderful.
How was your day?
I myself have no love, but when I hear your romantic tales, I kind of... No, I'm missing out on a massive part of life.
Let me just... She's not... Can you see if she's watching? She's not watching, is she? You're better off without it, mate.
I've got an idea. I'm looking out in to see who's coming. Everyone's joining in droves, so I can't see who's... Oh, Megan's here, though. Megan Katie. Big
Hello,
supporter
Megan.
of the show. Massive
She's the one
supporter
who
of the
does
show.
the posters that you told
Does
me
the
about.
post? Oh, that, yeah. She spreads the word. She's like
Amazing.
my publicity person. She's been brilliant.
What's in the Jaws mug?
Tea, John. Tea with oat milk.
Oh, well done. Good
Oh,
luck.
yeah. I'm following you down the path of healthy eating. And you're obviously a vegan. Unless that's a showbiz secret.
Best. I do my best. One tries not to talk about it too much,
Oh, yeah, you don't be
It's
that
enough
guy.
to say I'm a better person than most people. I think that will do the job.
Yeah, we could all agree on that.
I'm very
Right,
red on this, aren't I?
Pardon?
I look red. Do you think I look very red?
You look sun-kissed.
I do look sun-kissed, but it's October and I live in a valley in the north of England. Why do I look sun-kissed? I've got quite a lot of lights on me. I've lit myself for you. I'm on telly now and I'm not watching myself. So that's how much I value our time together, Danny. And I want you to know that everybody who's watching this stream single-handedly trying to bring down my career by not watching the launch night of my new show. So all these 79 people are fucking me over right now. They're ensuring that there will be no series 2 of channel hopping with Jon Richardson.
But there might be a series of channel hopping with Danny Buckler. That was my plan all along.
Yes.
You know,
Well, you know that when the title isn't Jon Richardson so-and-so, it's something with, that the thing is, we can syndicate this with someone else. So absolutely, get your application in now.
Mate, I've seen it in the cards. It's all part of my big plan. Get you on here, destroy your career with the footage I'll be revealing in about 10 minutes' time. Oh, stick around, people. He may go, but I've got tapes. And then...
I mean, yeah, you and I both know you have actual footage. But the two of us together, can do far more damage to Matt Ford than we can do to each other. And that's the important thing, that
I
Ford is
propose
always
that
the one who suffers.
I propose that we bring him down tonight.
Somebody said they're in Sweden.
Oh, mate, I've got fans all over, though I suspect most of these are here for you.
I don't know. You're a man who cruises the world, Danny. God knows what you get up to when the ship docks. When Danny puts his card away and the ship pulls into port and the magician slides into town.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Many an early night's taken place around the... many a sunset has been watched through the window from the comfort of my bed.
I imagine it's like, is it like when, I mean, you live in shared accommodation now, when your housemates go out and you just go and look in their rooms. Is that what it's like when a cruise ship gets into port? Everyone on the ship sods off to buy their trinkets, and you go in all their rooms and touch all their stuff, sniff their pillows.
Absolutely, mate. I'm like Nosferatu on that ship in Transylvania. When everyone goes ashore, I'm stalking around. I'm gathering material for the evening's entertainment.
Out of the vault.
It's quite the weird. I reckon, I'm not alone in that hobby. I remember happy days in Surbiton, coming home to open my door and notice that the sheets have been slightly disturbed. Someone's been sleeping in my bed.
Your bed sheets are slightly disturbed, whether or not me and Matt had been into your room or not. The things your bed sheets have seen.
Precious little.
All your bed sheets look like you've tried to make a ghost outfit out of them, because even your bed sheets have cut their own fucking eyes out so they don't have to see.
I've missed this warm banter.
There was a lot of nocturnal activity in that house, wasn't there? But it was mostly indigestion, alcohol-induced vomiting. Fordy's just wandering around in the night, scratching himself because he's had too many boosts before bed. It sounds really laddie if you say there wasn't much sleeping went on in that house, but it was more a combination of sort of piles and IBS than any sort of sexual activity, wasn't it?
An awful lot of belching and mowing
Yeah.
on. And we're approaching the anniversary. What date is it? We're about 10 days off the anniversary of Ratgate.
Ratgate, one of the great days.
One of the finest nights of my life. One of the most satisfying practical jokes of my entire life that just kept giving and giving.
Yeah, he's a perfect sort of person to prank Fordy, isn't it? Because he's half sort of intellectual 65-year-old sort of retired lecturer, blazer and jeans, happy to talk about the history of politics, and yet literally the other 50% is a 7-year-old who's had too much popping candy. So if you can soak up the pretension of Fordy's like lecturer and then scare the 7-year-old until he cries and can't sleep at night, he's just
precisely what we did.
It's like Raising Cain, the John Lithgow film, where it's got the intellectual and the child, and that's it. And we just tortured both. But Ratgate was wonderful. Tell everyone what you did.
Well, the two. For those of you who don't know, myself and John and Matt Ford were living in a house in Surbiton,
which is now for sale.
Is it now for sale?
It's for sale, yeah. So maybe we should arrange a viewing and go in there and just stoke up the old ghosts.
Maybe we should buy the thing. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. I'll have a word with Lucy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've forgotten. Yeah.
She's got 2 series out of our marriage. I think she's probably done with me anyway, to be honest. I don't think she'd bother if I went now.
Basically, the 3 of us live together, and 2 of us have formed lives, relationships, and commitments elsewhere since then. But well, one of us is still holding out for a return. But
the one of you, by the way, the one of us that hasn't fucking aged a day since we left the house. You look younger than when we lived together. Fordy and I do not. So there is something to be said for the path you've followed.
The path of abstinence and moisturiser.
The blue plaque. Well, someone's mentioned a blue plaque on the house. There's a really funny blue plaque nearby. I don't know if it's probably one of those things that's mass marketed that's everywhere. But do you remember the house on the way to Kingston that said, like, Paul O'Reilly, inventor of time travel, lived here 2133 to 2189. Very funny.
Yeah, it's a good joke, that. So we're all in this gaff. With the 3 of us living in this gaff. And it was Halloween, All Hallows Eve. And we decided that we wanted to frighten the shit out of Matt Ford because it's the most satisfying scream that you can ever hear. There's a quality to him crying out in fear that no one else can replicate. So I obtained. We were going to put something somewhere. We didn't know what, and I obtained from a closing down theatrical store a sort of a mutant rat thing. When it was like a rat, but it was and it was brilliant because it was posed. It looked like it was sort of hissing at you. Like that.
It didn't look unlike me, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a split image of John with the attitude to match. I thought about actually putting John into Matt's bed, but John, yeah, sorry, Jake brings some junk. He's actually your friend. You weren't lying. Oh, indeed, yeah. Everything I ever said was true, you swines. Anyway, we got this thing. I did toy with the idea of just putting John in Matt's bed, and that would have been scary enough. But no, we put this rat on his pillows.
Health and safety.
It looked like it was coming in from the window, the way we sort of positioned it with the thing. And then Halloween night, we were watching horror films and sort of, doing what we do, horror films and drinking and bemoaning our single status.
Prawn cocktail spirals.
Yeah, and eating and twirls.
Yeah, great days. Pre-veganism, that wasn't it?
That was when I still partake in it. I'm not vegan. I just don't have the milk. But baby steps. But and then we sent him up to bed. He went to bed, and we were sort of waiting for him to go to bed so we could be downstairs to hear it. And somehow he got into. We didn't see it. We
managed to convince him to go to bed and leave the door open, which was wonderful.
That was it. There was leaving the door open, and he still didn't tumble. He still didn't tumble. There was something happening, and he went in, and I remember in oh no! Oh Jesus Christ! What's that? And then somehow he ended up when we came out. You shouted "Happy Halloween, arsehole!" We came through the door.
Oh yes.
And he somehow got from his bedroom door to halfway down the stairs, lying on his back like he'd fallen. Like he'd somehow fallen and slid like a Tony Blair loving toboggan down these stairs, just sort of sliding there, sprawled, and sweating. God, it was the funniest shit.
Hello, Mikey. The best one was leaving the rat then, because he knew the rat existed. He was sort of on edge, and you get as much out of the initial fear as you do out of like a tantric fear that spreads over the next month, where he's looking for the rat at every turn. And when we both were away gigging, and we left it in the microwave so that he wouldn't discover it for about a day, so he'd start to relax. They're gone. I'm free from the rat. Then he went to heat up some soup, pinged open the microwave. I had it coming out of the door like that. Soup in the air. Great times.
Happy days.
Yeah.
And then when we left, we put it into his we were packing up our stuff when we moved out, and we put it in a box for him. No idea when he found it, but it was put in a box for a later date.
Yes. God, they were good times. We had some laughs, didn't we?
We did. That rat was the best £2.50 I ever spent.
Well, pre-rat, you committed to. You once left by the front door, climbed over the gate, broke into your own garden to appear at the back window while he was writing. I have that footage on my old iPad, and it is the best scream I've ever heard. It was so deep. It wasn't a noise. Matt Ford, as a capable impressionist, it's not a noise he was capable of replicating. That was primeval fear. That was, wherever that is in your colon. Yeah, that's the noise that came out. It was like I expected like black flies to come out of him at that point. It was the best scare I've ever seen, Danny, and kudos to you for that. That was your idea, your execution. It was
a joint effort.
Yes.
He needed you the other side to be filming the thing. I
think I've got the iPads in here. I might try. I don't know if it's
fun. If you can find it, that'd be brilliant.
Have that as the finale.
That could be the finale. We can actually get that fired up and people can see it.
Yeah, God, the scream. I'll see it. It's in here somewhere, I think. You all right, mate? Busy texting? Keeping you up,
no, sorry, I should explain. I'm dealing with this media on two fronts. As both the creator, producer, director of this show, as man who basically put his phone on and started gassing. That's essentially it. Oh yeah, the budget's gone on the backdrop. I put up a thing about if anyone had questions, and a couple have come in.
Do you iron
already.
that backdrop, Danny, or does that just hang naturally?
This backdrop here?
Yeah, do you iron it?
No, it's levitating by the power of the Vishanti.
Oh, of course.
Basically, think Doctor Strange's cape. It kind of, I sort of summon it, it unfurls, I do the business, and then it collapses back into its box.
Much like your sex life.
My sex life. So, lack there.
Summon it, it does its business, back in its box.
Back in its box for another 10 years. Men like me walk alone. It's the way of the samurai.
Yeah. He says sipping from his Jaws mug.
I've got questions. Oh yeah, I did. I've got, this is a gift from Hilary O'Neill, because Jaws has come up more than once on this. This is a regular show, but I know most of you, this is your first time because you've been brought in by bait. But if you do decide to follow me at any point, you can. I do this all the time, but no, it's just me on my own doing monologues. But
Danny is one of the. If you are here for the first time, Danny is one of my best friends and one of the most exceptional storyteller I think on stage I've seen, and to boot, an exceptional stand-up comedian and a fucking magician as well. So when life returns, you find Danny Buckler. You may well. I'm hoping that you'll come and support me on some warm-up gigs before the tour starts. So, but you know, look at the man. Look at his skin. If that isn't a man who's got secrets, 74 years young.
What can I say? Tai Chi moisturizer and lots of makeup. I've got some questions from the floor, in fact, if you wanted to dive in. Mr. Andy Ray asks, Andy Ray's a very good comedy magician, by the way, if he's watching this. If he's not. Anyway, he's asked us, in Rishi's new world, what will you both retrain as?
Oh, of course, yes, the end of comedy.
The end of comedy.
Oh.
I have become an online broadcaster, John.
Is that I don't think that counts as retrain. I mean, the great tragedy of the phrase retrain is it implies we've sort of trained in anything anyway. And you've put hours into a skill that is usable. I literally talk shit. And I'll talk shit on a panel show or I'll talk shit on a stage. It's the only thing I've ever done. So, it would be a case of training for me rather than retraining. And I don't know. I honestly, I'm sort of, what's his name from Shawshank? Boggs, not Boggs. Who's the old fella who gets out?
Who keeps the little bird as a pet.
Yeah.
Ends up in the supermarket. And it's been haunting my dreams ever since lockdown. Brooks, yeah.
Brooks, isn't it? Yeah, that's me. That's me. Just whatever job, I would just be absolutely fucking unbearable in an office. Just working through new material for gigs that are never going to happen. Saying things that get me hauled in front of a tribunal on a weekly basis. Because I just forget you can't talk to people in a work environment the way I talk to you. I mean, technically this is work and I'm saying the most horrific things to you. So yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, I had this fantasy that I could end up maybe being the wise. You know, the old boy you see in the supermarket, and you always sort of ask yourself, how did he get here? He's in his sort of 60s, and he's not quite well to do, but he's stacking the shelves. And I thought if I ended up being that guy, which is likely now, I'd be like the sort of slightly magical old figure, and the wise old man who appear. You're looking at the shelves, and he appears next to you. Hey, son, there's some wisdom in those beans. You know?
Do you know that is the way it would go? You and I would end up working in the same supermarket, and I would absolutely go native. I would be like trying to climb the ladder, trying to get head of Frozen, and you would be turning up in like pashmina jacket. You would be like the coolest guy in the supermarket that nobody sort of floating down the aisles. Rude to customers. Do you know where the hot chocolate is? I haven't got a fucking clue, love. Why don't you look up? We're going to see for chocolate. Yeah. And you'd be really popular. Is Danny on tonight? And I'd be like, no, we've had to rotor him off because he was rude to someone. Absolute piece of shit. I'll take it all very seriously.
There you go. There's some life goals.
Yeah, absolutely. It's bad though, isn't it? This is the job you end up with because you can't, we've all had other jobs, haven't we? And this is the job.
I can't do nothing else. I don't want to, but I can't. I literally physically can't. What am I supposed to do? Do you know what I mean? Do you want fries with that? I mean, it's like I've got no other skills.
I think we just take up residency somewhere. That's the thing. That'll be the next thing. You just, bring back the old sort of end of the pier days. We'll just have a residency somewhere.
Chroma.
People to us. Chroma. Wow. Class.
That'd be nice.
I will say this. I don't want to come across as all business, but you have gone for quite a small audience there. You've picked a more sort of residential end of the. I was thinking, somewhere with sort of thousands of people knocking about, and you've gone for like a place where I imagine everyone in Chroma could have seen us within the first 2 weeks.
That's probably true, but I just happen to know there's a theatre on the end of that pier.
Yes.
That's why it popped into my head. But I'm also thinking Blackpool.
Paul says we're getting depressing. Shall we move on? I mean, it's sort of answering the question. Maybe I'll do ballet. That's the poster, isn't it? If she's leaving ballet to go into IT, then that means there's a gap somewhere in ballet, surely.
And I would pay to see you dance. Where are we? Again. Here's one from Mr. Andrew James, who I don't know. Asking, what is your all-time favourite comedy special or performance?
Oh, that's very difficult. I'm trying to think. I mean, I think like a lot of people, I discovered the sort of what you're supposed to answer, all the cool stuff, the Dave Chappelle's and people like that. I discovered very late. My, Lee Evans, Billy Connolly, very sort of cliched answers. And, a few comics who, whilst I admired at the time, have now disgraced themselves to a point where we can no longer acknowledge that we ever liked their comedy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, again, let's not mention Matt Ford, but...
Yes, well, TikTok. I would say Danny Buckles, The Phantom. A wonderful show.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind.
The festival. Some of the most brutal audience banter I've ever seen in my entire life. The real Danny popped out every now and again. Pappy's show at the Edinburgh Festival. I'd say one of the best live hours. It was called The Last Show Ever. Pappy's Last Show Ever at the Edinburgh Festival. One of the best live shows I've ever seen.
That was quite the epic.
Yeah, but very hard, working with other people, isn't it? That's the joy of a stand-up. You arrive, you do your own shit, you get back in your car, you drive home. What I have met, I've discovered on lockdown, what I miss more than the gigs, and when I say people now, like, you see people doing like the driving gigs, and there's like pictures of themselves in front of a row of like Ford Escorts.
Yeah,
I just have palpitations, and I think, right, that's it, I'm never gigging again. I can't do that, I'm not strong enough, I haven't got the willpower. But what I've missed is the commute. And I think what I would probably do is I'd maybe become like a tour manager or a driver, because I've missed that silent 4 hours in a car at like 1 o'clock in the morning, just the only car on the M6, snacks on the passenger seat, audio book on. That headspace, actually, because I know you talk about meditation a lot. That, for I think a lot of comics, is like an unacknowledged meditative state you go into after quite an intense period, like a gig. Just cruising along a motorway on your own, and you always have that thing of like, fuck it, maybe I just won't come off at my junction this time. Maybe I just won't turn off at junction 38. I'll just fucking carry on going.
I have that a lot.
Yeah.
I just keep driving. I have like people, that I know, and I want, that if you're like 3 hours from my house, you're close.
Yes.
I'm serious. The amount of driving, people are always like, "You got to come and see me. It's 3 hours." That's close for me. That's like, and I remember me and you driving back from, where have we been? Doncaster, and we did the Alan Partridge book on the way back.
Yeah, I picked that out as that crops up in an interview every now and again, because I got asked once what the worst gig I'd ever had was, and I listed that one, and it probably isn't. I've had far worse.
What, Doncaster?
Doncaster, that. I remember having a piss before, and a guy turned to me and went, "Are you touring?" And I thought, oh, shit. And it went, I always say it's the worst gig, because there's a thing, once you've started doing a bit of telly, people are just broadly glad to see you. And you can coast that for quite a while. And Doncaster was my first wake-up call off. That is not enough. If the material is shit, my goodness, that was a real. The applause at the end being about a third of what it was at the beginning was a real lesson of. Oh yeah, still got to write some jokes. And you berating me for going bare arm to the stage. Bare arms to the stage.
It's a no-no. It's offensive to me.
Yeah, but I miss the driving, even with other people. I had it when I was at school. My mum used to drive me to school. I remember thinking one day she's going to say, let's not go to school today. Let's just drive and see what happens. And I don't know why. There's probably psychotherapists on here who would have something to say about me treating my commute to school with my mum like a sort of episode of Thelma and Louise, where we were going to end up. But she never did it. She always just dropped me off at school. But I thought one day she's going to go, fuck it. Let's see where we end up. And the tragedy of the UK compared to the romance of the US, you sort of can't. You could drive the length of this country. From where we live, I could get to the tip of Scotland or Cornwall in about 5 hours. So you can't. You give it big. Let's just see what happens. You just be at a service station at the end of a road within about 4 hours thinking, right, well, guess we either camp here or turn back.
What's the furthest you've ever driven?
For our honeymoon, we picked up a car in Vegas and drove through Death Valley and then across into California and down Big Sur. Not in one go, but that's the sort of longest one trip. There's a fucking moth in here. There's a moth and a daddy long legs in here, Danny. So to warn you now, if I disappear at any point, I'm going to pretend it's to go and get a drink, but really it's because the daddy long legs has come near me and I've shit my pants.
Jesus.
But
we've got a spider in the doorway here, which makes me think of our spider under the step. Remember our spider under by the toilet?
Yes. Oh yeah, it became a friend, didn't it?
That you named. To my eternal shame, I've forgotten what we called him.
Sid or something. You used to come out from underneath the skirting board every night.
Yeah, you just see
he just splashed with little droplets of piss. Yeah,
his 3 front legs coming out and then going back in.
That's right.
And then you got all sad because you thought, could we stop seeing him? And you thought he'd died, but he was actually hibernating.
Yes, yeah. I've never been sad for the end of a spider before. Just goes to show. For all the veganism, spiders are still... I had to get the Hoover out for one the other day and I hated myself for it. I was trying to get the glass on him and he just wasn't having it. He was right in the fucking corner and I was trying to explain to him, just don't go right in the corner, you prick. Because I just have to... Because of our daughter, she just constantly, whatever toy you get her, she strips naked immediately, which again, we're not asking questions about until she's a bit older. There'll come a point when that's something we investigate. But whatever toy you get her, strips it naked, takes the toy, clothes on the floor. So sort of exclusively I hoover up tiny clothes and spiders. So our Hoover bag is full of just the best dressed spiders you've ever seen in your life. Like little daddy long legs in Sylvanian family cowboy hats and things like that.
Like a voodoo priest's mojo bag full of weird charms and little tiny clothes and spiders. It's a good luck spell, this.
I'm an absolute classic wimp. I hoover the spider up and then I stuff a sock into the end of the hoover in case it sort of climbs back out again. Absolute grade A classic wimp. Once I've seen it, I can't have it in the house.
I'm actually quite okay now with spiders in the house, but I had one. I've got a blind that I pulled down in my bedroom, my chambers. And I remember one night just hearing one on the other side of the blind going up it, and I could hear its feet.
Oh!
And I could see where the blind was moving as it was moving up, and then it came over the top. And it was just like one leg come over, and then another leg come over.
Oh, no.
And I'm just lying there like, even this is bringing back the spider. Yeah, the spider phobia of my childhood. And it's like its eyes came over the top. Jesus Christ. I'm not sleeping a wink now because I can't get it where it is. But I'm like, it's just looking at me, and I'm just lying there like, fuck. Come down, slept on the couch that night, let me tell you.
The noise of a spider is just the worst. Because we were talking about horror films, weren't we, with it being Halloween?
Oh, and yeah.
That was the best thing they did. The best thing about the Babadook was that noise. Babadook, dook, dook. Oh, and what's the one? Is it The Grudge, where it's just pitch dark and then you hear that? Noise. Oh, that's the most scared I've ever been in a cinema. I went to watch it on my own and just absolutely even though I was on my own, I had to keep laughing to sort of pretend I wasn't scared. I was absolutely soiling myself throughout. It's a wonderful feeling. I'm trying to get my daughter into, she's watching a little bit too much My Little Pony and a bit too much sort of transatlantic Netflix shit for me. So she's picking up a sort of American accent. She keeps saying like, "Hey, Dad," which is, you know, it's fine. It'll wash off. But I'm trying to get her into like scary stuff and explain it's brilliant because it's not real. So you get to be scared and then just turn it off and it's gone.
Yeah.
And you've sort
like
of
Goosebumps.
Yeah, exactly. There's a thing on Netflix called Last Kids on Earth, which is like The Walking Dead, but for kids. It's about these sort of 4 teenage kids who are just in a world of zombies and monsters. And she went off it for a bit and she's just got back into it. And I'm really, really excited because, like, give it a couple of weeks. We'll watch the first It, you know, and if she likes that, I'll stick the second one on. Just build her up, you know.
It's Jesus. Which you were satisfied by, yeah? Because you're a massive It fan. Speaking of long drives and audiobooks, It was your go-to, wasn't it?
It, I do. Time. At least once a year or every other year. That is the dream. Like, if anyone watching hasn't had the audiobook of It, it's... I mean, I can lend you all it because I'm allowed on Audible. I'm allowed to send you a free book. So if anyone's not on Audible, I'll send you all it. But it's like 62 hours or something ridiculous. You're talking about like pretty much 3 full days of your life of just, I think it's a masterpiece. And whenever I do like those shitty 10 quickfire questions, it's my favourite book. And I have no qualms about saying that at all. I think it's an exceptional piece of... He writes so well about childhood and horror, and it is the perfect combination because half the book happens when they're kids. And the one thing that they weren't able to do in the film is combine those 2 strands. And what works well in the book is you see what happens to them as kids, and then you cut immediately to them as grown-ups, so you can see the reaction immediately. And the film was a bit, because it was all the kids stuff and then all the grown-up stuff, you didn't get that constantly back and forth sense of seeing, you know, the journey side by side. But I really liked it. I think it was better than the sort of 90s version with Tim Curry, who was an exceptional clown, but, you know, it was just a different time, wasn't it, in terms of special.
Yeah, I mean, that 90s adaptation just completely falls apart in the last half hour.
I'll never forget. My dad was the one who got me into Stephen King, and I'll never forget him. He still says it now. If you ask him about it, he'll say, "I put the bloody film on, and it was fucking John Boy Walton." And that was it. That was him done. The minute John Boy Walton was the hero of the piece, he wasn't having it. Not having it at all. Beep, Richie. Amen.
Harry Anderson's in it as well. Harry Anderson was a comedy magician who became an actor, and he's in it. Who died about 2 years ago, I think he died. Straight, but yeah, he was. It was
who's he in it? Who's he?
He's the one that becomes a game show host. I forget the names of the kids.
Oh yeah, Richie Tozier.
Richie, yeah, he plays him in it.
Yeah,
and
that's the role in it. That's one of the 2 films that if I ever said got made in my lifetime were that and the His Dark Materials trilogy. And I always promised myself I'd write to the production. I say I'll pay for my own flights. I don't want a speaking role. I'll just be in the background in any scene, just to be a part of it. And I didn't. I shit myself, and I didn't even get in touch. They're doing His Dark Materials now, and I'd just be like the voice of a pathetic demon that just went, "Oh bloody hell, that's hot." That's all I want, to be a part of it for a second. The shitty animal that dies. There's rumours they're remaking Labyrinth, you know. And
I've heard. It's so much. Yeah. And what's your feelings on that? Because I think it's a.
I don't see. I'm so biased. I would say something ridiculous that I would say there's nothing wrong with it. But that there speaks a man of his age who I like I like that you can see the Froud characters and, you know, Jim Henson. That to me is so wrapped up in the era it was made that I wouldn't have it remade. But if they remake it and I'm not the voice of Hoggle, I'm going to be fucking annoyed.
You could absolutely do Hoggle. Who would you have as Jared?
Yeah. Well, that's it. I'm not going to do Bowie. I'm not going to try and steal the role from Bowie. Just don't look good enough in a cod piece.
Few of us do, John.
I still wear them, but you know, it's for me, no one else.
I'm sorry, I've got this vision of it, and I've just that face swap app thing, and now I'm thinking dance magic. Anyway,
I saw my baby. Do you end on a song on the Buckles show or what?
I don't, because if I put I tried, but if I put music on, Instagram cuts it off.
Oh, I see. Well,
They've
that's
got some sort of algorithm thing that picks up the tune and then cuts you dead. Because I used to start with tunes playing when people were coming in.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Very slick.
But yeah, but it wasn't until they cut me off at the at the knees. What can I say, John? I'm having issues with the network.
Yeah, well, that's fine, mate. You've got to, you've got
to deal with these
you
people.
get the same everywhere.
I'm trying to negotiate for better terms and get the artists that I want. They've turned me down for the house band. At least they can do. At least they can do is let me have a bit of a iPod playing.
Tune in next week and see you've gone full one-man band, mouth organ, nodding your head for the cymbals. That's what I want to see.
Drum on the back.
A horn on your shoulder.
I'll do it. I'm thinking about staging Phantom of the Opera from start to. I was thinking about doing the Phantom on here actually, because of. Then I thought, why don't I hold the whole hog and stage the whole thing? Get the
if you need a Christine, then by all means hit me up.
Absolutely, I will. That'd be amazing.
Well,
I've still got the mask on that show.
For when lockdown ends, you've still got the mask. There you go. I've still got the voice.
Absolutely. Still hit the high notes.
And that's gone, hasn't it? That's not coming back.
Well, I've heard a rumour about that. That it's not gone. The reason it's shut, the way they know, because they've shut it down and cleared it all out, which is something they haven't done with any of the other shows that they've shut down. The other shows have shut down, but they're sort of waiting.
I see.
And Phantom, they've shut down and cleared out. And the reason is they were still having to pay. I might get this wrong, so this is all in the realm of conjecture. But the guy who direct that production was the Hal. What's his name? Hal something. Oh, the director Hal something. Anyway, pardon?
Crottenden.
No. Hal. No, talented one. Hal.
You bitch.
Hal. I forget his name, but it was his production. It was his staging, and they were still having to pay money to his estate. But the production that's touring, that's not his production because it's done with screens and stuff. It's all different. So their plan was if they shut it down and restart it again, they get out of having to. They can restage it and they get out of having to pay.
Someone's just said that on your comments. You see, you can't hide anything, can you? Someone's just said it so they don't have to pay the original people when they tour it. Someone earlier said they thought my place would be tidier. What a cheek! It's fairly tidy, isn't it?
Well, they're seeing is the ceiling.
Yeah, that's beer mats up there. That's not like chunks of mould. It's not like just chewing gum that I've spat up there.
No, and having been in that pub, they're alphabetical as well.
Signed Tony Yeboah there. That's a painting my granddad did of some women with their breasts out floating away in bubbles. Best not to ask. Guinness mirror there.
What is that? Looks like a Ouija board.
This one? That's an old Guinness mirror.
Oh, nice.
You've done a Ouija board, surely?
Oh, in my youth. About 3 weeks ago. But
3 weeks ago, have you? Yes. Yes.
Frightened the piss out of myself.
I am in the pub, yes. I'm in the Dog and Bastard, for those asking. There it is. This is a pub guide to the pubs of Bristol, which I'll be trying to get back into. And then I don't know if you can see got very embarrassed because we filmed a scene for Meet the Richardsons the other week, and I've scribbled on the dartboard all my notes to try and make me a better player, and I forgot to rub them off, so I look really pathetic because there's a scene filmed in here where in the background you can just see I've written "stand side on and try and throw straight." Really pathetic how seriously I take everything. One says Danny did a great seance earlier this year. Talk to me.
I did at the Blackpool Magic Conference. I played the medium. Richard. Oh God, names go at this time of night. Richard Wiseman.
Yeah. Oh yes, I had the privilege of working with him. Very clever man. Very clever man.
And he staged a seance, and I played the part of the medium. And it was obviously it was faked. It was a laugh. We were in a blackout, and then there's a girl coming out, and she's making the stuff move, and I'm playing the part of the spirits. Everyone concentrate, and the table floated up, and all this stuff happened. It was like the best ghost train you've ever seen in your life. But you're sort of even though you know how it works because you're in on the scam, you're still sort of slightly scaring yourself. When stuff starts moving, still got that bit of Jesus. but it was staged so that if you were in the room, you got the seance. But if you were watching it in the main hall, you were watching it on a screen. And you could see how everything worked.
Oh, that's
So
clever.
that was the idea. And he was in the main hall doing like a lecture on fake seances from the Victorian times and what was happening, and I was in there like doing the, playing the part of the gateway between this world and the next.
What do you make, Danny, of the? Because I know a lot of your audience are of the magical persuasion. What do you make of this? You're, you're a traditional, don't see behind the curtain. This new wave of like Richard is like Richard's a scientist, isn't he? He's, as much as anything, but that's about like showing people the tricks of a seance and things like that.
Yeah.
What do you make of the sort of psychology of magic now and the kind of? It's all about me telling you what I'm doing to your brain. That's just a new way of doing the same tricks, isn't it? It's
a presentational hook. I enjoy it. I enjoyed it, and I loved it. And then someone suddenly occurred to me that the sort of the borderline thing is people believe in it. It's like Uri Geller does not really bend that spoon with his mind, but people believe that he does, and they'll give him money and they'll give him things that he doesn't. You know what I mean? It's an intrusion on people's lives. It's the same with that. There's people that think that if they learn an LP of Paul McKenna on a course, they can go out tomorrow and do what Darren Brown does.
Yeah.
Just wander into a garage and be like Sherlock Holmes and sort of and you can't do that. And so that side of it I don't like. It's creating a false. I don't know. I don't like stuff.
It purports to be more than just magic. Do you think?
Yeah, I like people to leave with a sense of I've had a good time, but I'm not believing in anything supernatural. And when it's psychology to that level, or a fake psychology to that level appears supernatural, you can't look at someone and just tell them, facts about themselves just by what they're wearing and stuff. Do you know what I mean? You just can't. So, I don't like that, but. It fools me. I ain't got a clue. Any of them do it. These, the sort of current wave of.
Oh, really? I just assume you know everything. I love seeing.
I do, John. I'm playing it modest.
Seeing having house parties and seeing people react to your tricks was one of the great privileges. And somebody mentioned earlier. Somebody asked whether on my DVD, you and Matt were the housemates who left the pork and leaky wine glasses. Very much so. That routine was written in the Surbiton gaff. About the Surbiton gaff. You were my gateway marriage, really. You were my sort of practice wives, because I went from on my own in Swindon to you two, and then I met Lucy. So, I guess I have you to thank for sort of, what do they call it, domesticating me or making me, like when someone, like in White Fang, I was a stray wolf and then you sent me out. You said, go away. And then that's when I met Lucy. So, well done.
Indeed. You're welcome.
Well done. Look at me now.
Enjoy every second of it.
Shit-faced in my own garage, so cheers for that, mate.
Enjoy married life. After this, I'm going to have a Mars bar or maybe a Mint Aero from my own fridge and watch what I want on my television. So...
I'm going to go to bed because I'll get woken up at 6:30 by somebody jumping on my penis, and I don't mean my wife.
Nice. Let's see. Questions are coming in. Somebody wants to know, hi, John, what is your third favourite dinosaur?
Great question.
There's Banter.
Doing a lot of dinosaur work at the moment.
PJ Nicklin.
Big fan of Stegosaurus. Big fan of... See, Diplodocus don't really... you don't really get a lot of Diplodocus. Back in our day, it was all Diplodocus, and now it's Plesiosaur, which wasn't really a thing when we were kids. But my daughter now, all her books have got Plesiosaur in. There's a great show on CBeebies called Andy's Dino Toy Box, and it's just literally 5 minutes of a guy with a box of dinosaurs, and he gets a few out. It's just like a grown man playing on his own with toy dinosaurs. My daughter fucking loves it, and it's sort of like Stockholm Syndrome. I've learned to love it myself. But I don't know the name of the one. Favourite one is the one in Jurassic Park that finally gets what's his chops.
The fat guy from Seinfeld.
You didn't say the magic words.
Yeah, the thing.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That's always how I've felt as a sort of person. I feel like people see me and they think I'm one of the cute dinosaurs, and then spit bile in their face. I feel like that's what I do for a living.
That show you just described, is that not the show from the last 10 minutes of Mrs. Doubtfire?
Oh, do you know? Yes, it may
When
well
he's
be.
playing with the dinosaurs.
Yeah, Andy does not seem to be a sort of 55-year-old man dressing up as a nana. But although he doesn't do that in the end, does he? He's just the real
No,
guy.
he's himself playing with the dinosaurs, and the
Yes.
producer sees him and offers him the shot.
Yeah, well, have a look, Danny, and perhaps there's another one of these chats we can have about that. It never occurred to me, but I think broadly that is what it is. But it's very sweet, you know. It's very nice. It's nice telly. I love watching kids telly. I always have. I think one of the main reasons I've enjoyed having a kid is an excuse to sit and watch CBeebies. And I dread her. We're at a point now. She's 4. And not to belittle myself, but literally we have the same taste now in TV and music. And I reckon I've got about 2 years left before she's cooler than me. There's a kids' TV program called Bluey. It's just fucking wonderful. It's Australian. It's about these 2 dogs and their parents. Every episode is like playing a different game. It's such good telly. It's really, really warm and it's funny. The kids, there's one where the 2 kids are being nanas and they go into the kitchen and pretend it's a shop. Absolutely piss myself. And the joy of getting to say in front of other people to your kid, should we go and stick a Bluey on? Is wonderful. And musically, like, she's into Crazy Frog, Gummy Bears, all the sort of shit 90s pop, because she's into cheese and she doesn't know that there's an alternative at the moment. She does not understand that there is more music. And Lucy keeps trying to get her into like Neil Young, playing stuff like that for her. Fuck that. Keep her on Crazy Frog. Stick Crazy Frog in Spotify. The genres that I knew of 4 or 5 Crazy Frog songs. He's done Nelly the Elephant. He's done Final Countdown, We Are the Champions. Some exceptional work from the Frog.
I'd love to see it. I've not been blessed. Obviously, I've not been blessed with children.
No, but you never wanted to, did you?
Well,
I've never met
there's
anyone
that, and then
as
there's
sure from the early days.
There is that, and there's also the prerequisite of having another person involved. But
You've had that. You could have had that in the past if you'd wanted that. There's a part of Danny that is made for the open road, mate. You just have to accept. Danny is like, I'd love to, but I'm afraid I'm jetting off to New York tomorrow to pick up a cruise ship to the Bahamas.
That's true. The way of the samurai.
You're like, what's it called? Up in the air, your suitcase, your jacket on, off on the roads. You know.
True.
That's just the man you are.
But I do have a great niece.
Yes.
Who's new. She's that big.
Oh yeah.
So she's walking about and talking now, and it's like
that big.
Yeah, well, no, a bit bigger than that. No, what waddling age? She walks
Very
around.
precocious.
She walks and she talks now.
I've got Danny. Good to see you again. Join me in the drawing room, weren't you?
You're not far off. She's pretty much that smart. Actually, she's really like uber kind of intelligent. And was it the other day I come in because I walked in and she sort of saw me and then went off ran to the front room and shut the door behind her. And I'm like, well, that's nice, isn't it? I feel wanted. And she shouts through the keyhole, "I'm just shy, all right? I'm just shy." And yeah, and let's not forget the moment when I thought I'd show her her first magic trick and I made the coin disappear and she just looked at me and went, "Other hand." But
yeah, you don't
saw
want...
straight through me and immediately. But she's still at the stage where she's watching those TV shows that are like not TV shows. It's just bloobly blobs of colour and things singing. Which wasn't a thing. And I don't remember that when I was young. And there seems to be it's a channel just showing that horrendous shit 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And it don't end. Like I remember children's television ending, like the guy saying, and then it was the news and it was bedtime. This stuff's on a loop.
We had like a couple of hours, didn't we? A couple of hours after school and Saturday mornings were hours. Now it's just constant. And I had to put a stop to these fucking videos. They're like crack for kids. It's just like colour. It's literally just colours and shapes where like a lorry drives into some paint and comes out blue and then shits out a load of blue balls that roll down and then they turn yellow and that turns into a lorry and it goes in yellow. It's just absolutely just mind-numbing crap. And people... Grown adults, this does my fucking nutting. Grown adults playing with like unwrapping a Kinder egg and then playing with it for 20 minutes. And then they're getting coined for this. They're getting like sponsored and they've all got the same sort of incredibly infuriating. But, oh, look inside. What's this now? Oh, well, it's a little Peppa Pig. Oh, well, hello, Peppa. Oh, my God. I've had to stop it. I've just had to tell her they've stopped making them. Just can't.
Yeah.
No, they don't do those anymore. No, that's gone. I've tried getting her into all our stuff. Someone mentioned like Green Claws and stuff. I've tried like Muppet Babies. Bertha, she was into as a kid. Dapple Down Farm. I just wanted to watch what I watched, but that's not fair, is it? Can't just lock her in the 80s because that's when I grew up.
No, I'm very definitely starting to lean towards the kind of DC animated films. You know, she's too young for the Killing Joke, but I mean, I can get her into like that might be a bit heavy, but I'm going to try and get her watching a bit of All-Star Superman. I think it's quite a nice place to start with.
Yeah,
you
like
know
what we watched yesterday? Literally yesterday, she's into Ghostbusters. She loves Halloween, and it suddenly occurred to me yesterday. There was a Ghostbusters cartoon, so I googled it and put it on the telly. What a pile of shit! I remember it. Oh, is there?
There's the Ghostbusters cartoon,
yes,
which was a gorilla and a guy
Tracy.
and a robot that drive a shitty van.
And
there's no relationship to Ghostbusters whatsoever. But because they cop for the name, the animated version of the Ghostbusters, as we would understand them, is called The Real Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's the thing to Google then.
Yeah, and even they had to make some changes, like Egon's blonde, because they couldn't get the rights to Harold Ramis's image or something, so they had to make a blonde Egon. But
I was baffled. I had to apologise to her and say this isn't why. I don't know why there's a gorilla called Tracy driving a flying car.
It's. I made that mistake.
Treachery, right? Real Ghostbusters. Well, this has been an education, Danny. 53 minutes in, I've got information that I can take away that will make my life better.
Jesus.
So thank you.
50. We've got, in that case, if it's 50, we've only got like 5 minutes left because it chucks us off after the hour.
Does it?
See if
Come on, mate.
Say
tosses us off. Come on, this is a comedy show. Say it tosses us off after an hour.
It does toss us off after an hour. Ashley asks, why haven't you guys done a show together yet? Good question, Ashley.
We have done many live shows.
Well, we have done loads, and we're going to do more by the sound of things.
We are absolutely going to do more, yes.
We've done some cracking shows together.
But it would be, I mean, depending on, my tour's been moved back a year. If all this shit continues, then we will invariably have to do an online show together because there will be no future for us otherwise.
Exactly this. And then someone's asking, I don't know this name, forgive me, Tink Adams is asking. Asking if you would ever tour in the States.
I would, but I don't. People are always very kind, and there is a sort of thing that when you see someone on telly, you just assume that means they're famous. But I'll get maybe about 4 tweets a year from America, and they're all from totally different places. And if I booked a tour, whilst those 4 people would be thrilled, it would literally be me like flying from Phoenix to like, I don't know, what's that place in California? I want to say Salerno or something like that. And then like just 4 different towns that 3 people would be at. I have no desire to crack America. I keep seeing comics who are really like, I can't wait to break. I really want to break America. And you think, you haven't even fucking dented here yet. This is, we're privileged to live in one of the best countries on the planet for live comedy. The number of gigs and, like we were saying about the driving before, the driving's, part I enjoy, but you don't have to. You can, when I started out in Bristol, the number of gigs, there's gigs in like Stroud and Bradford-on-Avon, and you don't really have to move within an hour of Bristol, and you could gig in a different town every night of the week for like a month. So, I love gigging here. And if gigging abroad anywhere, I mean, you've gigged all over the world. You must know this more than me, but whenever I gig abroad, all I think is I would rather gig at home and use that money to visit here. I'm not enough of a fan of my own work to think that it's worth me going to fucking Oslo and I just feel like I've taken them hostage. I just think you're good people. You wanted to, see something new. You're supporting comedy in Oslo, and you wanted to support someone who's, you haven't seen before. And I've given you a shit night where you just sat there with your exceptional English and your Norwegian accent. Why does she talk so fast? Why not just slow down? And why is she so angry? So I just think I should go on holiday and gig here. I mean, the fact that it was the first episode of my new show tonight, and I can't imagine anything worse than fucking sitting and watching it. I'll carry on getting away with this for as long as I can, and then I will fuck off. And if nobody knows, but like house parties, that's what I used to do. I'll turn up. If there's a minute I can sneak out the back door and no one notices I'm gone, I'm fucking out of here. I'll do the same with comedy. I'll be one of those people. It was that little fucker. He used to do that and wear cardigans. Where did he go? I don't know. He was driving Danny Buckler around now. He's driving Buckler's limo.
home Richardson. Back to our cottage in Sheffield.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Why fucking not? Got years left, haven't we?
Time's nearly quarters. We've got 3 minutes left.
I know. Sorry. Do you have stuff you do that I've
No, I don't. It just sort of ends. We sort of say goodnight, and then that's the story of, because you get a countdown starts.
Oh, do you? How exciting!
Which is, yeah, I can see it. You won't see it, but I can see it, and it's quite terrifying because it feels like you're in an episode 24 all of a sudden.
Do you try and hit 0 on the knob like you're on the news, and you've got to like get to the weather?
I try, but I like sharing the video in the IGTV, and I need to get in there to catch it in order to slide it into the
Oh, this is all. I don't understand any of this. I'm sorry. I couldn't even retweet your thing earlier saying that I was doing this. I just don't understand.
I noticed. But
at least the newsreader's got the weather. With an Instagram Live, it's one of those sort of, I've watched a few, you get really immersed, don't you? And then it ends and there's nothing there. You would have to end like, and now the rest of your life. And then the screen goes blank.
It's like the old days where suddenly would cut to black and you get God Save the Queen before bed.
Yeah, absolutely that. But just the Ghostbusters theme tonight or something like that. Or the Babadook noise. Imagine if you'd edited this so that everyone's screen went blank and you heard Babadook.
I've got to make that happen now. Did you manage to find the Ford footage, or was that lost?
Oh, well, I haven't even looked, have I? Because how long have I got?
You've got 2 minutes. Run! If this gets cut off before we've seen the Matt Ford footage, we'll come back just to do that.
Oh, the iPad's gone dead. Well, we'll have to do another one. We'll have to do another one where I open with it.
That's it then. You're committed. You're doing another one.
I found the iPad, but the battery's gone on it. This is the iPad from when we lived together. That's how tight I am.
Oh, so the very same. An iPad 2, as I recall.
Absolutely. This is the one we used to play. What was like that Pictionary game we used to play.
Oh! When you draw with your finger and you've got to guess what it is, and they go backwards and forwards.
That was a wonderful time. All three of us in the house, all lying on our own beds in our underpants, scratching our balls, drawing pictures for each other. Not sat in the same room talking, just drawing pictures. I'll never forget getting the word dumped just after Fordy had broken up with his girlfriend, and it was one of them. Can I? And I just drew a big picture of Fordy with like tears rolling down his face and put, "You got blank, 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 blank." That is the joy of true friendship, is the people you can be absolutely monstrous to.
Absolutely, and that's why I love you.
And ditto. It's been a pleasure. It's gone very quickly, hasn't it?
Really quick. And that's it now. The countdown started. We've got 44 seconds, so I will say good night to you now. Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation to tonight's guest with the love hearts in the side. Mr. Jon Richardson, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks. Sorry I didn't get to all your questions. Thank you, Danny.
No worries. We'll do this again, yeah?
Do I go now, then?
Yes, please. That's it. Because otherwise I'm going to miss the things.
See you, everyone.
Good night.
Merry Christmas.
Bye. There you go. Thank you, friends. There you go. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you very much for watching this. I do it all the time. Sometimes it's a solo show and it's just me. Sometimes I have a guest. There's a load of them in the IGTVs. There's a Sean Walsh one. If you're a comedy fan, that's about 5 back. A few other comedians in there as well, and some magicians. If you enjoyed tonight's show, it's absolutely free, friends. Honest to God, it is. But you can help us out by buying us a coffee. The link for that is in my bio if you want to do that, but you don't have to. That's not why we're doing it, but it is very helpful. Have a wonderful week. I'll be back with a solo show later in the week. Thanks again to Jon Richardson. It will be in the IGTV. Loads of love, my friends. Have a good week. Take care, everybody, and good night. Thanks a lot.